Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm Mike Kelly, the voice of the Missouri Tigers, and on behalf of the University of Missouri and its athletic department, welcome to each and every one of you. We are here today as a celebration of Coach Gary Pinkel's career. We will talk about his decision and also his contributions to our institution. For members of the media, a couple of announcements. When we get to the questions, after we hear from Director of Athletics Mack Rhoades and from Head Coach Gary Pinkel, I ask you to please stand, identify yourself and your affiliation as a courtesy to those who are in attendance today and also to our live audience as well. For our fans, there is a portrait just like the one that hangs behind me. It is inside the Clinton Club. As you exit today, we ask you to please sign that portrait for Coach Gary Pinkel. Mack Rhoades, by the way, will address the media about 15 minutes after the conclusion of this news conference here on the arena floor. So all questions this morning during this setting should be addressed to Head Coach Gary Pinkel, again, as we celebrate his contributions and his decision that he recently made. So with that being said, please welcome the Director of Athletics at the University of Missouri, Mr. Mack Rhoades.
Well, good morning, and thank you everyone for being here on this very, very special day. I'd like to welcome our friends, our media friends, our staff who's here with us, our fans, donors, and certainly friends of the program, our student athletes. In typical Gary Pinkel fashion, he told them, "You better be in class." We also have two very, very special guests with us today that I'd like to recognize and have stand up. University of Missouri System President, President Mike Middleton. President Middleton, would you please stand? Thank you for all of your support. And our Chancellor of the University of Missouri, Chancellor Hank Foley. Chancellor Foley, thank you for your support. Today, it is my honor to introduce Coach Pinkel. Now, Coach, wait a second, because I have a lot more to read here. I've been here now for almost 6 months, and Coach Pinkel has absolutely been tremendous in terms of the way he's welcomed me into the Mizzou family. And Coach, thank you for doing that. Thank you for making me a part of the football family. Coach Pinkel has amassed 191 career victories in 25 seasons as a head coach. That ranks second among active coaches and 19th all time. Think about that. He is one of only 4 head coaches to hold the distinction of being the winningest all-time coach at 2 institutions, Toledo and Mizzou. At Mizzou, his accomplishments include 5 division titles, 10 bowl games, and 5 10-win seasons. Now, to put that into perspective, Mizzou had only 1 10-win seasons in the previous 110 years. But more important than the wins, Coach Pinkel has impacted thousands of young men's lives. Mizzou has improved its NCAA graduation success rate over the last 9 years, and over the last 5 seasons, 97% of our football student athletes have graduated. You can clap for that. Gary's program has defined what it means to be Mizzou made, to develop as an athlete, as a person, to receive an education, to become a champion, and to be a member of a family. As just mentioned, Although his on-field accomplishments are numerous, his legacy at Mizzou will not be defined by wins and accolades, but rather the profound impact he's had on the lives of many student athletes. Never was this more evident than by the outpouring of love from his former players following the announcement of his retirement on Friday afternoon. And I received many of those just wanting me to make sure I relayed those messages to Coach Pinkel as well. And certainly the unmistakable bond between Coach and his current players put on full display for a national audience following Saturday's emotional win over BYU. Please picture that, yes. That is a perfect picture of Gary Pinkel and his legacy. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand and join me in welcoming Coach Gary Pinkel.
Thank you. Thanks. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks. Okay. Okay, we're good. We're good. Thank you. Thank you very much. I thought you were going to leave there for a minute, so I didn't know what was going on. So, well, first of all, I've never done this before, so you got to bear with me a little bit. I didn't have a lot of time to do it, and hopefully emotionally I can kind of keep myself in check here. And I'm very, very appreciative of you all being here, and very, very proud to be the head football coach at the University of Missouri, and I've taken it very, very seriously. I've got a lot of calls and messages, from all over the country the last 3 or 4 days, a lot of which I haven't had time to get back to friends and players that from Toledo, obviously, players that I coached here at Missouri, and it was just really amazing, and coaches, and it's just been really awesome. I'm so very, very appreciative of that, and that it was interesting. One thing that happened to me is when we stayed Friday night in Kansas City for a game on Saturday, got a call from Andy Hill about 9:45. He said, someone wants to see you down here. And I went down the elevator, and I walked over, and J-Mac was standing there, and they were going to fly to Denver the next day. And he came up to me, and he looked really sad, and he looked at me, and he goes, "Coach, are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm okay." And he come over and put his arms around me and told me he loved me. And so that's kind of the neat things about this business and what you're in, is that the great relationships you have with players, and I got a lot of other calls also. My high school football coach who passed away a few years ago, his name was Dick Fortner, and I just being in his football program, I just got interested in being a high school football coach. We went to Kent State University, and that was kind of my goal. And then I saw Don James came in there, and tremendously successful, good man, just like Coach Fortner was. And I'm watching all these guys coach, and I'm thinking, they pay these guys to coach football. I mean, does life get better than that? They would pay me to coach football. And so that's one of the reasons I just, I like kids, and coaching to me was, I've never worked a day in my life, and that's certainly true. I think that this position, being a head football coach, is a lot different than just coaching a position, and that's sometimes I miss that. I miss, the coaching a position, but it's, my responsibility is obviously I have to win football games to be able to keep my job. But my responsibility is to develop young men. And I think anybody ever knows our program, it's not, I don't say that to make it sound, better than what it is, but that's what we do. The way we run our program, the things that we do, I want to have an impact on their lives, and they leave, they're different people, and we help them develop them into young men. And that's real important. I remember when I was at Toledo and we were struggling and not winning, and I said, I'm saying my prayers and to the good Lord, and it's, if you don't keep me, if I don't win enough games, I can't help these kids. So I need some help here. So eventually, you win enough games, but that's what you have to do in order to help kids. And I don't think I'll ever quit coaching. Last night I was yelling. The Seahawks were playing, and I was yelling at the TV. My wife Missy, she's called me a couch coach, and she looked at me like, yeah, you're not going to miss this. Are you crazy? So she's going to have to put up with me as we do this. But I love coaching, and I love being a part of kids' lives, and it's really been very meaningful to me. The decision, well, what happened? The last couple of years, people asked me how long I want to coach, and I said I've been very blessed with good health, and I have my entire life. I've had great health, and I've never taken that for granted either, ever. And but what happened in the end of April, beginning of May, I was diagnosed with follicular lymphoma, and it's a disease. It's a blood disease. There's no cure for it. You manage it, and that's pretty much what you do the rest of your life. That you manage it and deal with it. And obviously, I've read 100,000 things on it since then. I also might add to this, and this is really important, there's people out there that have cancer and they're sick with illness that are a lot worse condition shape than I am, and certainly my prayers go out to them. Okay, I think I have to recognize that's very important to know that. In May and June, I got multiple treatments, and really, honestly, for me, it felt great. Ended up being great out of those treatments and everything else, and I just planned I'm going to keep coaching, and I'm going to manage this and keep coaching, and that was kind of my plan all the way. Got into August a little bit, and we started football. Started practice in August, and I just keep when you have something like this just for me, it's just me, the way I am is, you just start thinking about your time. You're wondering about, you just don't know time-wise. I mean, I might live another 25 years. I don't know what can happen here, but you start thinking about your time, and then you kind of reevaluate your priorities. And so this is a little bit in August here, a little September, and then I'm going to shut this down and wait till the bye week, and I'll talk to my family about this. And I've never felt that way, ever. I mean, I've always wanted to coach the day. I love what I do for a business, but, that's just really something that was kind of weighing on me a little bit. And so what I did is I got the Monday after of our bye week, I went and had another PET scan, and that's in this position you live PET scan to PET scan. That's pretty much what you do, and then you adjust, and treatments adjust around those things. And I remember sitting there with Missy, my wife, and all these people getting treatments and getting PET scans, and I mean it was just really overwhelming to me. And again, I came back here. I talked with my family and said, this job is, it's every day, every minute of every day. We have 127 players. You can imagine. I mean, that's just the way the job is. And you got to give all your energy, and you got to put everything into it. And, we work 6-7 days a week, 9 months out of the year. And is that the right way to spend my time? And so I decided at that time that I was going to embrace the healthy times, and I'm going to battle when the tough times come, and I certainly have those down the road. Prayerfully, hopefully, much further away than right at this particular time. And so that's pretty much the approach that I took. I talked to my family, and then I went in on Wednesday, and I told Mac. And the reason I told Mac Wednesday was because I love this university and the things that we did here, and the progress that we made. And it's going to be very important to give him enough time to do the right things to replace me, whatever direction he goes with that. And so that's why I did it at that particular time, if you wanted to know there. So that's kind of where I was. It was kind of, was certainly undercover in terms of that. I plan to tell, there's no right time to tell your staff or your players. There's no right time to do that. I don't want to be a distraction, okay? So we kind of put it off a little bit. 2 weekends ago, it wasn't the right time. This weekend was going to be the right time. And then all of a sudden, about 5 o'clock in the evening, or excuse me, 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Friday, my secretary called me. They were doing walkthroughs in the indoor facility, and he said, we just got a call that it's out there somewhere. And so then it got out. And my players and my coaches had to be the first ones to know. They had to be the first ones to know. And so I was really upset about that. And so we had a meeting scheduled right close to that. And so about 15 minutes later, I'm sitting in a meeting and telling my players and coaches that I have lymphoma. With all the stuff that they've had to deal with, it's about the last thing that they wanted to hear, nor I wanted to tell them. But they had to know first. That was the most important thing. I think that when I talked to them, it was remarkably emotional for me. It was really, really difficult, and I knew it was going to be. But I'll tell you, I'm so proud of them with all the distractions, with their coach telling them they're going to leave the night before a game for them to go out and play like they did and compete like they did, and I was so very, very proud of all those guys and what they did. I love Mizzou. I came here 15 years ago. I've never been one of the guys looking for jobs all the time. I've had coaching opportunities. I just felt we could achieve our goals here and keep making it better and better and better and keep improving. And I think we've made a lot of progress over the years. This is a great university. One thing I always tell recruits is my players love going to school here. They love the place. It's obviously it's well respected academically, but it's just a great university. Like any university in the country, we have our problems, and what you do, just like we do in our football program, you communicate, you talk, you solve problems, you get better, and the University of Missouri becomes better and better as we go. And that's our challenges, and that's what we'll do, and certainly we have great leadership to get that done. I'm proud of our football program. You come here with a plan, what you want to do and what you want to get done. And I felt from day one, and I learned this from Don James, you run a program with honesty and integrity. And Coach James always said that anything you do, your players are going to notice. Anything you do, they're going to look at you, they're going to point to you, and they're going to see who you are. And so your leadership role is very, very important. And I took that very, very seriously. I believe that I've always said you got to do the right thing. You don't make adjustments to keep players on the field. You have a disciplinary program that you do. There's consequences for bad decisions, and you adjust and you stick with it. And I felt proud to this day that we didn't keep players in even though they made mistakes. The learning experience for them was greater for the whole team than it was to try to win a football game. And I've stuck with that my entire career. Well, when I speak, a lot of public speaking that I do, I put a slide up and it said it's all about football. It's all about people, not football. So it is. I guess I'm going to be struggling with this, aren't I? No, it's all about people, and it is. It is all about people. Everything is. How you deal with people. And here, I got much of my family here, and very appreciative of them all being here. Some of my grandkids. I have 8 grandkids and 5 kids now, and just very, very fortunate to have just a wonderful family, and it's always been a priority in my life, and it's just a special, special gift for me. I look at my coaches here now. Most of them are over there. I told them all to stay over there. There's a few here, I think, but I told them over this, and we had a big game this week. But what a great football staff I have, and I've always been very fortunate. And talking about people too, probably my greatest gift that I have is I'm a great judge of people. That's probably my strength, and after that, I don't know if I have anything. And the coaching staff that I've had here, the ones who've been with me over the years, in the 25 years that I've been doing this, just very, very appreciative of all their efforts and in what we do and what we're about here in coaching. So I'm very appreciative of them. The staff, with the support staff, and I just start saying names, I'll go through. I don't have enough time to do that, but certainly appreciate that. I've had 2 secretaries in 25 years, so it was a gal named Nancy and Ann here. So very, very important, because a lot of times in my business, that's the only friend you got. Okay, you just know that at least that person's going to smile at you when everybody else might be a little upset sometimes. I'm very appreciative of Mike Alden. We developed a great friendship, went through a lot of things together. Man with great integrity. Just very, very appreciative of my friendship with him and his leadership at this university. Mac, I've gone to know the last 6 months, heard so many great things about him, and he'll do an outstanding job here, and I'll be there supporting him 100%. Most importantly, the toughest thing about this the most important thing is my players. In Toledo and here at Mizzou. I'm going to miss that. I'm going to miss them. I'm going to miss their interaction, being around them, scolding them when I had to scold them, and hugging them and touching them every day. And that's what I'm going to miss the most. Just being around the players. I always told recruits that they're Tiger for life when they come to Mizzou. Okay, so this isn't a 4 or 5 a year decision. It's a lifetime decision. And I tell recruits, you're going to have my phone, and I tell my players, you're going to have my phone number in your phone forever, and I'm going to have yours. And you call me anytime you need me for anything. And that's certainly what I'll miss the most. This press conference, is something that I'm not a big accolade guy. I'm not into that a lot, but I'm very appreciative of you all being here. We got a big game this week. We're obviously focusing on that. We need to get that done. And we're going to try to finish this season in the right way. Oh. Okay. It's all good.
So at this time, members of the Strategic Communications staff will be with microphones, and if you have a question, raise your hand, stand. Remember to state your affiliation as a courtesy to those that are with us today, both in person and also either with the TV or the radio. We begin with Vahe Gregorian of the Kansas City Star.
Hi, Gary.
Bye. How you doing?
I'm getting the mic because I'm the Helen Thomas of the press corps here, I'm told. So first of all, we haven't had a chance to talk, but I'm very sorry about your condition. And second of all, along those lines, you're a pretty decisive guy once you make up your mind about things. Are you able to describe a little bit more how you went after that PET scan, how you decided that is this how I'm going to spend the rest of my life? That was 24, 48-hour period. And with that also, how you talked to Mac about that and how hard that bridge was to go from talking about it as a family to telling Mac.
Well, I think there a lot led up to it, too. I'm sitting there on two-a-days, and we're working 15-hour days during two-a-days. And, obviously I'm focusing on my job, but there's times in all this, there's that spare time when you're wondering, am I doing the right things here? And, you just kind of, and I never thought I thought I'd coached on. I told somebody if I'm coaching when I'm 70, shoot me. Okay, so I'm not going to get there, but I plan on coaching for a long, long time. But I think that it's still I was brought up about priorities and what you do and time and it was really about looking at these people and when you get cancer and there's a lot of people out there unfortunately that have it. It's funny when you get it. It's so numbing. It's so numbing, and I've been so blessed with my health, and it is, and it's you're driving around for the next, I think, for a week. You just glance at yourself in the rearview mirror, and you look at yourself and say, you got to be kidding me, and so it's for me it was profound, obviously, and I think it's it was still I'm seeing all these different people. Getting PET scans and getting treatments. I mean, just hundreds and hundreds of people. And, there's just a point where you sit there and say, I was so, I'll battle the tough times, but I'll just coach. And then, I heard, sometimes someone down the road said that would you rather die on a football field or would you rather die on a beach? And I'd rather die on a beach, okay? And now I can't go there. There's no plan here. I didn't have any plan. I have no plan here, and that's not good because I have a plan for every day of my life. And so for me, that's going to be something that I'm going to have to get a plan for what I'm going to do because there's no way I'm going to do something. I'm going to try to be significant in something. And you've talked to Mac a little bit. We'll have discussions at the season. I think that get involved with the university in some way for this institution.
Next question from Dave Matter of the St. Louis Post-Dispatch.
Hey, Gary, once you told Mac last month that this was going to be your last season, did you kind of wrestle with when you would make this announcement? Did you think about doing it maybe after the season, or was it important for you to do it while the games were still going on?
Well, if I didn't care about the university, I'd have said December 1, I'd walk in and say, here. But I loved it. I put a lot into this place, and so did a lot of other people. We've made tremendous progress. The difference, obviously, when we got here to what it is now, it's very significant. And it was very important that I tell him right away because he has to get the time going to make his decision, and he'll talk about that later how he plans on doing that. So that's what the whole thing was based on. I don't want to be a distraction to my players. Obviously, last Friday was a huge distraction, but that's the other concern. That's why some coaches just they just get out of sight. But we put it off as long as we could.
David Morrison of the Columbia Daily Tribune.
David.
Hey, Gary. I guess kind of what was your process as far as who you told and when, or just kind of when you let in on your news, from family to colleagues to friends and things like that? Just how did word filter down, I guess?
Well, I didn't. My friends and family that I told, obviously I told my family right away because our family always communicates about everything. I told my family right away, and I had a selection of friends away, and that's all I told, and that was in May. I didn't tell anybody else. We knew, obviously, Mac has had to move up and tell people. I mean, eventually, it's got to be. And so what happened, I have no idea. Obviously, I'm disappointed that it came out, but I have no idea, how it did.
Michael Coleman, KCTV, Kansas City.
Coach, first of all, congratulations on your win in Kansas City over the weekend. It's obvious you are a hero to your players. You spoke to your family, now your family of players. How tough was it? Did you think it had to be strong for them when you told them the news?
Well, telling them the news, it was in my staff too. I mean, I did not plan on telling my staff on Sunday privately, so they all knew beforehand, and then go in and tell the football team. That was my plan to get that done. It wasn't good. It was awful. I was, pretty emotional guy, especially with my players, and I was a wreck. And just a lot of responses, a lot of one thing I've noticed about kids, a lot of times, when they come in your program, they're from all different kind of backgrounds and everything, but a lot of kids, everybody has when things get tough, they kind of bunker up, they kind of just, it was evident of that, and there was heads going back and a lot of different things and body language, and it was very, very difficult to do. But so proud of those guys to be able to go through that. And that's when I walked out of that. I told my wife, I said, there's no way they're going to be ready to play. All the stuff that's going on this week, and then this happens. And I'll tell you, God love those kids because they battled, man. And very, very appreciative of the leadership and what they did.
Ashley Zavallo, KRCG, Jefferson City.
Hi, Gary. You're a father, a teacher, a coach to your players, but what have they taught you?
Oh, wow, what have they taught me? Well, I think you learn all the time from them. I got to hang around them just to be cool. What's cool now? I mean, it's changed all the years that I've coached. So the right things to say, the right things to do. Obviously, I don't dance very well. We all know that. I think that the life changes. You know, kids are a lot different now than they were, 25 years ago. And about every 5 years, they're different in many ways. But they're still kids, And I've always had just a sense of responsibility around kids, to always try to, help them grow as young men too. This year I did a thing before all our team meetings on Thursday called Fatherly Advice. And I would just give them something, that fathers would say, the golden rule, and talk about that. Why is that important? Last year it was the Book of Virtues, and talk about being, trustworthy, loyal, helpful friend, all the things that you can do there. So you want to make more of an impact with them to help them. But, I just love going around and hugging them, grabbing them by the arm. I changed a lot in coaching. My first, Coach James, back in the day I tried to be Coach James, and everybody's different. You got to be your own personality. But I've lightened up a little bit. And I think my Toledo players they would probably agree with that, because there I was like a walking machine. So my players always know that I love them, though.
Todd Palmer, Kansas City Star.
Hey, Gary. You've got obviously the wins record here, and so much has gone on, good and bad at times. But have you given any thought to your legacy, or what you would like your legacy at this institution to be? I mean, you've been the face of it for basically the last decade and a half. So,
you probably know me well enough. I don't really ever think about stuff like that ever. I mean, I've never went back and watched a football game on TV since I've ever been coaching. I've never gone back after we won our bowl game last year. I never you had a few hours to go back and watch the television thing. I've never done that. I just always look forward. Always look forward, learn, and look forward. That's what I do. But I have no idea. I would like to think that we did the right things for kids. Basically, at the end of the day, we did the right things for kids. And, I think we've had a lot of success winning. We have our ups and downs like you always do. We battled adversity. But at the end of the day, we did the right things for kids, and that's the most important thing.
Gabe DeArmond, Power Mizzou.
Gary, if you don't go back and watch games, have you or will you go back and watch the scene on the field Saturday in Kansas City? And down the road, when you look back, where will that scene with your players kind of rank in moments in your career?
Well, I did happen to see it because I think my daughter sent it to me, Erin, sitting over there, and I just happened to blink it on, and Missy and I were together. This is Sunday morning, and I don't want to disappoint anybody here, but I don't ever read the newspaper. I don't ever read nothing. I just focus on doing my job. That was a Don Jamesism. It's probably the best thing I ever did. Even I know about 95% of what you ever wrote was very, very positive. I'm sure.
Frank Cusimano, KSDK St. Louis.
Coach, you mentioned the Macklin story. Roughly, how many do you think you've heard from, and what else has jumped out at you that really touched you hearing from a former player or former coach?
I've just heard from, like a lot of guys that I've known over this year in this business. I mean, coaches and different people all over. I mean, guys I haven't talked to for 20 years. And they say some of the nicest things to me, and it's just, it's overwhelming. I mean, it really is. There's just been a lot of people, and I don't know a number. My daughter said the other day, she goes, well, I got all these things of all these players, all these things your players said, and so on and so forth, and I'll certainly read it someday because I'm very, very appreciative of them.
Darren Hellwig, KBIA.
Coach, and kind of talking about that, you mentioned earlier the coaches in your life and guys that were influential with you. You now get to see a lot of your former players coach, and you got a couple on your staff, Barry and AJ and some of those guys. What does that mean to you to see some of these guys? I'm watching Xavier Smith coach in high school in Oklahoma now, for instance, that are going into the business themselves and kind of following what you did.
I think it's really neat. I think it's cool, that kids would have an experience with us. That they would want to get into coaching. I've had a lot of players that come in and talk to me about that all the time. I think the most difficult things for young kids, the reason they're going to coaching, is they see one thing. They see it's a very difficult job, and our situation here has been very unusual because the average Division I coach lasts about 6 years or 5.8 years. So they see that, and then it's a remarkable time commitment. And I think guys want to work hard, but they look at the time commitment. And so when they come in and talk to me about that, I tell them that, what you're getting into. But, you know, for people, for players that have played for me to go coach kids and have influence on other kids, that's obviously very, very meaningful to me.
Tom Ackerman, KMOX Radio.
Hi, Coach. Saturday is a game that you want to win. It's also a very important day for your seniors. Standing there on the field as they're coming out of the tunnel, what will that be like for you?
That'll be difficult. That'll be difficult. I started, you know, greeting the players outside the locker room probably about 10 years ago. Andy Hill came up to me and said, well, I think it'd be great if you'd greet them outside the locker room. I said, okay, I'll do that. And then I've been an emotional wreck by the time I get on the field. And obviously, it's very, very difficult. We get very, very close with the seniors. They've been in the program 4 or 5 years. This class has had a lot of things that have happened this year. You never know at the beginning of the year that some of the things are going to happen. But it's always bittersweet, you know. But you're very, very, very thankful of you know their many contributions. And I think the other thing with players is the neat thing for us when we recruit these guys. They're 18 years old and they walk out of here 22, 23. And the stories I could tell about each one of them since they've been here are just remarkable. If they've matured and grown, and I'm so proud of them when we get to that point.
Rich Gould, KPLR, St. Louis.
Hi, Coach. Over here, you had to coach during treatment. Did you notice any lack of focus or lack of energy as you were on the field with these guys? How difficult was that?
No, I actually had the treatment. I had the treatment in May and June, and I in August I started. No, I was fine. I was fine. I'm high energy, man. I got high energy. If I don't have it, I'll have it. You know, I'll find it. But I honestly, I feel fine now. I really do. As I said before, too, not to be redundant, but there's a lot of people out there with other types of cancer that are suffering a whole lot more than I am. And certainly prayers to all those people.
R.B. Falstrom, Associated Press.
Hey, Gary, do you have a favorite moment from your time here at Missouri or favorite season? Anything that
Favorite
stands
moment
out?
or season? Well, and occasionally on the radio, my radio show that we have during the season, I'll talk about this guy. This was like one of the greatest guys, or this is the great. So what happens is, if I say this is the best game, or this is, I got all those players I coached out there, they come after me. You know, they come after me. So I can't touch that. There's been a lot of great times here, a lot of great times, and you know, I think that's one of the great things about my business is that they're all people related too, and that's the fun about that.
Bill Pollock, Missouri Net.
Gary, keep it positive here. You have an opportunity now to do some things with your family that maybe you haven't done before. So what are you looking forward to?
Well, first of all, I got to decide what I'm going to do because, like I said, I got to do something. Okay, but I want to spend more time. If I work, I want to work, you know, more like a normal job, and where I can be significant. But like with my 8 grandkids as they're growing up, living here in Sedalia in Kansas City, and so you know, spend time with them. You know, obviously Missy and I spend time with her and our kids. So you know, it's you know, I'll just be able to be like a normal person, you know, where I'm not gone all the time and you know, working all the time. I could sit here for dinner, I could get a phone call, and I could be on the phone for the next 3 hours. And that's just my business and what I do. And I love what I did. I love it. But I feel very peaceful, you know, thank God. I'm very peaceful what I'm doing. I'm doing the right thing. And at the end of the day, that's how I've done everything in my career. I just, you know, do the right thing. And I'm doing the right thing.
Our final question is from David Morrison from the Columbia Daily Tribune.
I don't know how I got this honor, but all right. Gary, I guess just investing as much as you have in this program over the years, I mean, are there things that you hope that your successor, are there certain traits you hope your successor will have, and do you expect to have any role in maybe suggesting a successor for you or anything like that?
Well, you know, Mac's obviously going to do a great job with that, and he'll probably ask me opinions here and there, but if I'm there available for him if he wants to. You know, what's important, I think, is that how you build consistency in programs is a consistency of winning. And if somebody comes in and it comes a losing season, then and all the things you gained, I mean, losing program, then all the things you've gained, then you go backwards. And so, this is a real important hire. I know I'm putting pressure on Mac here, but he knows that, and he's very good at what he does, and he'll do the right thing there. But I think it's the investment of our fans. You want to be great, you got to keep investing, okay? And that's the new facility at the end zone. That's all sports. This is the league where you can't just we're in it and let's work hard at it, man. You got to be committed to facilities, to commitment of financial commitments to be great. And why would Mizzou want? I think we got us up here. I think we've become really, really good football program. Well, let's get great now here. Let's get up here, okay? But it isn't just hiring the right coach, okay? It's doing the right things to be great. And I think all Mizzou fans really want to do that.
Ladies and gentlemen, how about a round of applause for head coach Gary Pinkel?
Thank you all for being here. Appreciate it. Thank you.